Yes, hello and welcome to the PE Insights podcast, brought to you by the fantastic team at PE Scholar. It's me, Nathan Walker, your host, and I'm really looking forward to delving into another episode today. You may have seen on social media yesterday that the announcement went out that PE Insights podcast is a year old. I cannot believe it's been a year already. This time last year I was having a conversation with the wonderful Grace Cardiff, and that's where this journey started. And it brings us towards today's episode number 37, with the fantastic and inspiring Aaminah Hussain. Aaminah is a head of physical education in Sheffield, and our conversation today centres around challenging stereotypes, challenging yourself and your own unconscious bias. Really looking forward to sharing this one with you. Throughout the episode, Aaminah asks lots of questions for you to reflect on, so I'd really appreciate it if any of you would like to share your thoughts. Without further ado, I'll let Aaminah introduce herself, but this one's one that was going to definitely get you to question your practice. Aaminah, good morning. Welcome to the PE Insights podcast.
Morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming on so early this morning and for taking some time out of school to join me. We're really looking forward to this conversation, as I am with every guest, but particularly this one after reading a sneak preview of the blog you're working on that you sent through yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah, really excited to get your perspectives and your opinions on physical education today. So let's set the scene. Tell the listeners who you are and what you're up to.
So my name's Aaminah Hussain. Some call me Aaminah, some call me Aaminah, some call me Aaminah. It's across the board.
The only reason, Aaminah, is
I was actually named after my grandma, but my own uncle calls me Aaminah. My granddad had his own name for me, so I accept everything.
Okay. I taught a young girl in Doha with the same spelling, and it was Aaminah, so I went with that, and I do apologise.
No, at school I'm Aaminah.
Okay.
With my uncle I'm Aaminah, so
right. We'll take a pick.
So
right.
I'm easy. Where should I start? So, in terms of my background, I was brought up in a Pakistani household. My mum is second generation, my father first generation. Born up in a town called Slough. So I don't currently live there. I've moved up north.
Yeah.
And all my family's down south. And my grandparents came to the UK. They migrated from Pakistan. They came to the UK, and I owe it to my grandparents.
Yeah.
Because of the life I've got today, 100% owe it to them and their hard work and them instilling hard work into us. But yeah, so my granddad was a factory worker. My dad, taxi driver. My mum went to school. My mum has three brothers. I think my story really starts with my mum. Yeah. My mum has three brothers, and she went to school up until the age of 16. Got her GCSE. I don't think they were GCSEs back then. It was something else.
O-levels, maybe.
And she left school at the age of 16. That was it. End of education. And my mum started working in a sewing factory. Right. Because as a woman, she was like, I want to work. I don't think that's the career my mum wanted. And she changed that later on in life. When I went to university, my mum went to university at the same time.
Oh, wow.
My mum was never allowed to kind of play sport and physical activity. So when I was born, my mum was very adamant that everything that she's missed out on, she's going to push it through me. I've got one brother, so playing whatever I saw my older brother do, I wanted to do the same. So, for example, he enjoyed cricket. I never enjoyed cricket, so I wanted to play football.
Yeah.
And my mum would push us so much in extracurricular activities. But at the same time, we had to, I come from a Muslim background. So at the same time, after school, we had to go to the mosque to learn Arabic.
Yeah.
And do all the religious stuff as well. But my mum was very, very adamant on my children need to do the extracurricular that I missed out on. So I really owe it to my mum, first of all, and my dad, because my dad also did push me. They both took me to fixtures. I travelled the country, taking me to loads of different fixtures. And I think I owe it to them as to why I kind of went into the sporting world.
Yeah.
Not common. I am the first female in my family to go to university. So I went to university, and then like a couple of months later, my mum went to university. So my mum went and did social work. I went to St Mary's University in Twickenham to do a degree in PE and sports health. Did that and then stayed on to do my PGCE and then became a teacher. So yeah, that's a little bit of a background.
So you really touched upon why sport was important to you, because of the support you had from your mum and from your dad.
Yeah.
What then led you into the direction of becoming a physical educator? Why did you choose PE teaching?
So I remember when I think I must have been about 12, and I walked into a gym, a martial arts gym, with my dad and my brother. And I walked in at that point. I was like, I didn't want to do martial arts at this point. I was like, it looks cool. And I was like, okay, I'll do it with my brother. Do you know what I think it was? I wanted to do it because my brother and I used to fight a lot. And that was kind of like a place that we could fight.
Without being told off,
Without being told off. So I started doing mixed martial arts. So a mixture of boxing, taekwondo and kickboxing. Mm-hmm. And so I trained with my dad and trained with my brother. And I was 11, but I never went into children's classes. Now, I am quite tall for a female. This might surprise you.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you guess.
Well, now you've said it, I'm going to say 6 foot plus.
Yeah, so coming from a 6'1", so coming from a South Asian Pakistani background, right, I'm a giant. So I'm very, very tall. I'm the odd one out.
Right.
So initially I just went straight into adults. Like I was training with adults, and I was the only female for a couple of years. I was the only female, and I was training with my dad and brother. I mean, I think my dad stayed for about a year. My brother did 2 years, dislocated his knee. I think his knee popped out about 2-3 times, so he stopped. Yeah, because it wasn't worth it.
No, and
I carried on. And at that point, I started to get to my black belt. I needed to do some kind of voluntary hours and show that I could coach. I started working with what we call the little champs, and they were only 4 years old. And I just used it was more character development, stranger dangers, things like this.
Yeah.
And I started doing that, and I loved it. There were 30-minute sessions for the 4-year-olds, and I just absolutely loved it. I think I was doing Duke of Edinburgh. That was part of my hours for the DV as well.
Yeah, for your service.
And it was like UCAS, you had to do it. The school that I went to, there was some hours you had to do to get for your points for UCAS or something like that. So I absolutely loved it. And then from the 4-year-olds, I went to the next kind of group, the juniors, so primary school children. But I found it really tricky doing primary school children. I was like, this is hard. Mm-hmm. And then I started to, I got my level 2 fitness qualification.
Right.
So after doing my A-levels, the gap between getting my A-level results, I went and did a fitness qualification because I started to enjoy all that. And I started to do my own fitness classes within the martial arts space.
Right, okay.
For like teenagers and adults.
Yeah.
And at that point, I felt like I was on top of the world. I was loving life.
Right.
I used to run my own sessions. And that was like for parents, for the teens.
Yeah.
It was like we used to do father and son classes, my mother and daughter classes. And at that point, I was like, I think I want to be a teacher. Also, when I was at school, I used to do. I love sport, and I think I think every PE teacher sort of becomes a PE teacher because of their teachers.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
I do owe it to my PE teachers as well for pushing me. There were times when I hated it. I remember once Miss Jackson. And she wanted me to play tennis, and I used to hate tennis. And because I'm tall, they kept saying to me, "You'll be really good at tennis."
Yeah, you should have an amazing serve, right? Because you're so tall.
Exactly. That's what I always used to hear. Always used to say, you'll have an amazing. I used to hate it, but my uncle, he plays tennis, and he was pushing me. He was like, "You need to do it." So I think it was a mixture of both. I think more so towards when I was doing the martial arts, and I got an opportunity to be a role model. And I remember very carefully with the martial arts. I was training against guys for years, and I was competing against guys because of my height.
Yeah.
There were days where I felt like an odd one out, and very much like an odd one out, and I was hearing it as well. So I remember my grandma used to say to my mum, and we laugh about this now, what is your daughter going to learn from, beating up guys? She had this view. She's like, what's Aaminah going to learn? What's she going to take into life?
Yeah.
Like fighting, like what's she going to get from this?
Yeah.
And my mum was so proud. My parents were so proud that, you know what, our daughter can do this. I became so confident.
Amazing.
I became really confident, and I think it was that. I think that was the turning point for me.
That's great.
I think it was the martial arts, and then I think being the only girl there.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? I can do this.
Yeah. And then, you mentioned in there about how deeply you care about being a role model, positive role model for females. I just wanted to ask you quickly as well, Aaminah, about what your mum and dad thought when you decided to pursue becoming a PE teacher initially.
I remember this. I never actually told them that I wanted to be a PE teacher.
Really?
So
Okay.
my dad had this dream, and I can understand why my dad had this dream.
Yeah.
My dad had this dream that he wanted me to become a female doctor.
Yeah.
To specialise with females, and that was because my grandma passed away when my dad was a young boy. So my dad and I was named after my grandma. So my dad had this dream. Do you know what? I'm going to educate my daughter, and I want her to, help other females. I want her to be a role model, and I want her to be, I want her to. It was almost like this South Asian mindset, and I know a lot of parents still have. We want our children to become white collar professionals.
Yeah.
We want, and it's still in my family, and I can 100% say that some people might look at me like, "Wow, she's a PE teacher." Okay, interesting career. But they kind of, I knew they wanted that, and they pushed education. Both my parents pushed education, but they always used to say to me, "Education can only get you so far. You need to have other skills."
Yeah.
You need to be a well-rounded person. Anyone can get 9 A stars. We need everything else. And then I was good at sport, and I was doing really well. I picked GCSE PE, and I was doing the coaching, and I started looking at universities, and I saw St Mary's. I was too afraid to go far from my family.
Yeah. Okay.
I was too afraid to go far, so I wanted to stay near. And I saw the facilities they had for sport, and I was like, I think I could do this. I think that's where I want to go. It was St Mary's of Brunel.
Okay.
I looked into the courses, and I was like, right, I think I want to be a PE teacher. So I said to my parents, I want to be a physio.
Did you?
So I don't think I'm clever enough to be a doctor, but I think I want to be a physio.
Right.
I was like, it's pretty cool, Dad. I'm like, I'll be helping people. I'm still within the medical sort of field.
Negotiation. Good.
And then my mum one day, my mum was working in a school, and she was the school matron, the nurse, and she was talking about where I was applying to go to university. She goes, my daughter's going to be going to St Mary's. She wants to go to St Mary's. And they turned around and said, she realised she'll become a PE teacher.
So she found out from a third party.
So we were having dinner one day, and my mum goes, so at work was saying St Mary's is really good for teaching. I said, yeah, so the degree that I'm actually going to apply for, guys, is going to be sports science and PE. I'm going to do a joint honours degree. Right. And I said, there's still a chance of me being a physio. I've got sports science, there's sports rehab, I can still do it. Yeah. And then I was smashed. My degree, I absolutely loved it, and I loved the modules on philosophy, social issues in sport, and I was still doing the coaching. And I think it was at that point, I was 19, 20, 21. My fitness classes were kicking off, and my parents could see that I was doing really well. It was a good side income as well as a student. Yeah. And I could see it, and I had loads of jobs, and every job that I was doing at the time, I was like, I think I worked for Nike at one point. I was working for David Lloyd, doing their children's classes. I was still doing the martial arts, and I was doing my own fitness classes. So I think they kind of saw like, I think she's going to head towards the teacher.
This is where she's going, yeah. And obviously,
they saw me doing well. Yeah. And then it was actually so one of my lecturers, he moved to Worcester University, and he was doing a study on South Asians and Muslim girls and levels of exercise. Right. And he said to me that, there's a PhD proposal. You could put one together. You don't need a master's, and you could do this. So I put a proposal together at the same time as applying for my PGCE. And I got accepted to get to the interview stage. Right. At the same time, I've been accepted to do PGCE. Okay. So I've got to pick that. So I said to my dad, it's either I'll go to Worcester or I stay local and I do my PGC.
Yeah.
So we stuck with that. And I wasn't ready for that anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was kind of like, I enjoyed writing the proposal. And then I just went into teaching.
Amazing. Yeah. Fantastic.
Training year was difficult. It wasn't a normal year.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was the odd one out, and it took me longer than the year to qualify. That was a difficult year for me. Mentally, a very hard year. I don't feel like I was accepted. And I sometimes put it down to my background.
Okay.
I feel like I wasn't accepted because of my background. I felt like I was the odd one out in the school that I was in. And so now I'm actually a mentor, and I really look after the person that I'm mentoring.
Yeah.
I think that's really important when we're, I was listening to the blog earlier, I can't remember, on PE Insights, about how we refer to trainee teachers.
Oh, that was the last episode with Grant. Yeah.
And that really hit me because I didn't feel welcomed within the PE world at that point.
Okay.
I didn't, and it took me longer. I got a job and I had to give that job up because I didn't finish my year.
Yeah.
So that was a very difficult time, and at that point, I didn't think I was going to make it, and I was getting a lot of comments like I was the odd one out, and I felt the odd one out, and I didn't feel comfortable in my teaching year.
Okay.
But then my actual first job as a teacher was an unqualified science teacher.
Yeah.
And I went back to my old school. I asked for help, and I went back to my old school, and I finished my last 6 weeks of my placement there, and they offered me the job to teach science. They said that we love you here and we want you to teach science, and we think you'll be a role model.
Yeah.
And I grabbed that opportunity, and that's when I met Lee.
Yeah.
And I started teaching PE. I went back into PE, and with Lee's guidance as well, that's where I started to feel more comfortable, and I found the person I want to be when I'm teaching. Yeah. I think it's really important to be yourself when you're teaching, not to copy. And I say that, I mean, you can take parts of what you see, but you've got to really, your personality needs to shine when you're teaching if you want to be that role model.
That's really inspiring. That's really inspiring to hear, particularly because I'm doing a study, and I said in the last episode with Grant, my study this year is looking at pre-service teachers, so training teachers' identity, and how that impacts their practice. And sometimes how the mentor influences their identity and their practice. I just wanted to skip across to maybe reflect on what you've just said. So, daughter of a taxi driver, granddaughter of a factory worker, and you felt uncomfortable and often not accepted in the PE profession, and you were subject to sometimes some quite ignorant comments along the way. I just wanted to kind of wonder whether you would share maybe what some of those were and how they then motivated you to make it.
So when I was training within the martial arts, I'm tall, and I was training against guys. You get 3 points if you can hit a head. Right. So if you can get a clear kick to the head, you get 3 points. And I heard this comment once. It was like, you can kick high for an Asian girl. It was like, it's not right. Where you are today. And it was just a parent just sat there. I was too young at the time to, and I didn't have the confidence to question that. I just carried on. It was like, so are you in the right environment, or am I in the right place because if I wasn't Asian, can I do this? Is it because I'm female you're making this comment? And that stuck with me, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to be a role model to these girls, and it's absolutely fine to do martial arts. I totally get it's a physical sport, and I totally get there's a chance for an injury, but there is room for females in this sport.
Yeah.
And that was a massive one for me. I mean, in addition to that, it was just like, I mean, you're at a family event and you're like, an engagement or something, and somebody's like, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm an accountant. I'm a lawyer. I'm a PE teacher. Skin past you.
Okay.
So that was like, it wasn't a. I don't like using the word white collar professional, but sometimes I feel like it's important to use that word, especially with I've got friends who are doctors, I've got friends that are doctors, medics, and their parents are so proud of them, and their parents are proud to say, my son is a doctor, or my son is a lawyer, or my daughter went to, I don't know, Queen Mary's University. And I respect that. I totally respect that, because I respect those parents that push their children to get to where they need to get to where they need to be. Totally, a lot of respect.
Yeah.
But if someone's happy being a PE teacher, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's there's more to just being a PE teacher. It's being a role model. I'm trying to challenge stereotypes. I'm trying to say it's okay. I've just we call students in my school scholars.
Okay.
So I might refer to us. But I've just had a scholar in my GCSE class, and she reminds me of myself.
Right.
And I've said to her, look, Loughborough University is there for you. And I was like, there are so many courses. It doesn't have to be sports. The reason why I'm saying Loughborough is because of what they can offer you in terms of the sporting world.
Yeah.
And I'm pushing. I was like, look, I wanted to go there. And I genuinely believe that you can do it. She's like, Miss, I don't know if university's for me. 100% university's for you. 100%. So you just got to find the right course that is for you. And I said, the only reason why I'm saying Loughborough to you is because you are so physically able. I mean, you can achieve anything in any sport.
Yeah, there'll be opportunities there for her.
Opportunities. Like I started playing volleyball at university. I would never have played volleyball any other time until I came to uni, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved playing volleyball. So I think there are two examples that stick with me.
So tell us a little bit then about you as the role model. So you are the head of physical education in your school. You make a lot of decisions around curriculum offer and increasing participation and engagement in PE lessons and challenging those unconscious biases, which we'll probably talk about a bit later. But what do you do, or what are you doing in your school to be a positive role model and encourage everyone to be involved?
I think it's the way we speak to the scholars. I think that's the first. I think that's the most important thing. The conversations that you are having on a daily basis with the girls, not just girls, boys as well. So I teach a boys BTEC group, and I have spent the last week talking about barriers to participation. And I mean, the whole class comes from an ethnic background. So I'm educating the boys about the barriers that we face in our cultures, and it's not religion. It is not religion saying that you can't take part in sport. It's the culture.
Yeah.
The culture, and we've got to remove this barrier. We've got to remove this stereotype that it's religion. 100% it's not religion. It's the culture. And I'm getting the boys to go home and question families. And they're coming back, Miss, Mum and Dad said this, Miss, Mum and Dad said this. And we're having these fantastic debates. And it's a safe space to have that debate. They might not feel safe at home to have this debate and to challenge, but in the classroom itself, we're having these debates about stereotypes and why these stereotypes exist. Yeah. And that's not just with the boys, it's with the girls as well. In terms of what I first touched on is how we have those conversations with the scholars. Not to judge a scholar. I think it's so important not to judge a scholar because they've just come in from a different country, or they don't speak much English, or they look a certain way, they dress a certain way. We should not be. That I absolutely hate. I'm like, when I see somebody judging a scholar by the way they look, by the way they speak, we can't be doing that as educators.
No,
can't be doing that. We can't. We need to. I mean, we talk about it in initial teacher training, having high expectations while being one of the standards. I think that's the biggest thing for every single educator. We need to have high expectations, and that needs to come across in our conversations. I'll give you an example. I've got a scholar who's just come over, and she's in year 9, just come over from Somalia. Yeah, speaks very limited English. Very limited English. I took her ice skating last week.
For the first time ever.
The first time ever. Now, you can imagine in Somalia, I don't think there are many. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I don't think there are many ice rinks. She speaks very limited English. I'm Google translating like the words bend knees, hands. I'm just Google, and she's too afraid to get onto the ice. I'm like, By the way, I can't ice skate. I'm awful. I'm awful. So I get onto the ice with her. I get a penguin. I'm first like, we don't need a penguin. We don't need one of these penguins. And I get onto the ice with her, and I'm like, on purpose, I've fallen over. And I'm like, it's okay. We've got to learn to fall so we can get back up again. And there's another girl who can speak. I mean, in Somalia, they have different types of
dialect.
So she can only say certain words. And bless her, the girl was really scared on the ice. And towards the end of the session, she goes, Miss, and she signed it. She goes, Miss, next week, she doesn't want a penguin. We're going to come back, but we're not going to use a penguin. And I think giving not just girls, I was going to say girls there, but giving everyone opportunities, regardless of their background, is key. And don't judge. I mean, I assumed that she can't skate, and I was correct that she couldn't skate. I could just tell by her facial expression. She was very quiet. She was sat there. I helped her put the shoes on. Showed her how to put the shoes on, and took her onto the ice. And I think that's key. I had those high expectations that she will be able to succeed. I didn't go in and say, oh, do you know what? She's just going to hold the edge, or I'm just going to sit here and mark whilst the rest of them skate along. So I think that was that.
I just want to add to that. I mean, obviously, I worked in Doha in Qatar for 4 years, and I had many young girls and boys show an interest in a sport. Let's just say volleyball, tennis, swimming, what have you. And they loved it, and they found their passion and enthusiasm for it. But the thing that was stopping their progress was the support from their family. Obviously, that might be something that you can relate to. But what I wonder whether you've been in that situation and how you've maybe communicated with parents to perhaps get them on your side, or to encourage them to support their young child.
I've had girls come to me and say, Miss, I've recognised the talent. I'm like, you're quick, you're rapid. You should be on my football team.
Right.
Miss, I don't like football. I know, but you're rapid. We need you. So first of all, that positive, like, I need you on my team. You'll be fantastic. And then to pick up the phone, invite parents in, and have that conversation and praise the scholar and praise their children. That's what parents want to hear. So I've done that on numerous occasions where I've picked up the phone to whoever it is. I'd like to have a chat with you regarding your child. Are you able to come into school? So child and parent are sat together, and we have that open and honest conversation. And you recognise, like, your daughter is amazing. She's physically very able, or she has the tactical she understands tactics. She'd be great in this environment. And some parent, I mean, I work in Burn Grief in Sheffield. It's a very deprived area, high crime. So some parents, I can understand, they're afraid. Winter time, getting dark. We don't want our children to be. And I'm like, I totally understand that.
It's understandable.
In the summer term, though, it's lighter. We will continue, even though it's summer season, summer sports. I will put on this club for your child, and we do like multi-sport. I put multi-sport on because
nice.
Scholars just like come in and play the sport, and I'm like, right, pick a sport, we'll play that. We'll learn the rules and we'll play that in multi-sport. So having those conversations with parents, and also educating parents, I think that's and educating and starting to understand the society that you serve as educators. I think that's key. I mean, you might come from a small village, and then you might go into London, and you're teaching in an inner city school, very mixed, multicultural. You need to kind of educate yourself about the culture, the society that you serve, the area. We need to know, the children that we're serving, they might be coming from high crime areas. They might be coming from, I don't know, they might be homeless. How does it feel for that scholar? And then put yourself into their shoes. How might being successful in a sport feel for that scholar, for that same scholar?
Yeah, brilliant.
And these are these open and honest conversations we need to be having with parents. And I push that to every educator out there, to have open and honest conversations with parents. And praise children. I mean, it's amazing when you pick up the phone and you have a positive phone call. You have that positive phone call with a parent, which they're not expecting. And even better when the child is there with you. Right, I'm just going to pick up the phone to ring your parent.
Yeah.
They don't know what the conversation. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? And it's a positive phone call. Do you know what? You smashed it in PE today.
Yeah.
You were
Amazing.
great. I love the fact it could be a conversation. I had a year 8 lesson the other day, and fantastic coaching, fantastic feedback. And I picked up the phone and rang home. Do you know what? Your daughter today showed elements of being a fantastic leader. She really helps scholars in the class, and that was it. That turned the scholar. She's really looking forward to next week's lesson, and mum was really appreciative.
Yeah.
That then increases the value of PE.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, isn't it? Yeah. Increasing the value of the subject through those positive conversations. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. I just wanted to think, I'm thinking like, as we're speaking about, because I know, again, without giving too much away in the blog, which will come out for people to read after this, you talk about challenging unconscious bias, and I'm thinking, right, I've gone to London, maybe I've got a large Bangladeshi community. Does that mean then I'm going to be teaching lots of cricket? And that's what we want to move away from, right? Instead of making those stereotypical judgments and assumptions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really getting to know them.
When it comes to unconscious bias, I think we need to accept that it does exist. Mm-hmm. And to some extent, it's okay. Because I think it's defensive.
Okay.
Having this unconscious bias, it's a defensive. We're all humans, and it's this defensive mechanism that we have. You know, we're humans. We have feelings.
Yeah.
And I think, a personal opinion, I think it's this defensive mechanism that we have built inside us, and it's based upon personal experiences.
Yeah.
That's how our unconscious bias develops. Now, to challenge that, I think as educators, we need to reflect regularly on our own assumptions.
Yeah.
So I've just assumed about Somalia not having ice rinks.
Yeah.
Now, I probably can Google, there probably would be. There might be an ice rink. I could have Googled that. Now, I think we need to reflect regularly on these assumptions that we have. Now, that could be about a scholar, about culture, about a sport itself, about a behaviour. But I think the two that we really need to reflect on is gender and background. I think that's two key ones. I think challenging yourself and reflecting on your assumptions about someone's gender and someone's background will help us challenge stereotypes.
Okay.
So, for example, let me think of an example. You could ask yourself, why might a quiet scholar less likely excel in your PE lesson? So you could, going into that lesson, I'm just asking people to reflect on your practice, and get yourself to ask this question: why might a quieter scholar not excel in that lesson as much as somebody who's more of an extrovert? Now, these are just questions I ask myself. Is it because I've not given them the time? Is it because I've assumed they don't enjoy PE and I'm just going to push that to the side? Is it because they're just quiet and they're just going with the flow? They're just going with the flow. They're ticking the boxes. Yeah, they're making progress, but they're just ticking the boxes. Well, how much progress are they making? That's on us. That's on us, and that's on how we deliver our lesson.
Yeah. And
it's not just within the lesson itself. You might see him in the corridor, and it might be that quiet scholar looking forward to PE tomorrow, having that quick interaction, looking forward to PE tomorrow. You're leading that warm-up, or you're going to be my feedback coach. Just that real quick interaction prior to the lesson to prep them for the lesson. Or it might be an interaction in the change rooms. Mm-hmm. You make sure your group's got all the netballs. Okay, that's on you. That's a big responsibility. You need to make sure you've got all that equipment ready for when X, Y, and Z. So we're not leaving them out, and that's just a question. I've just thought about that on the spot.
Yeah, that's fine, and it's good. It's honest, and you know, we can see, and the listeners can see your thought process around how you can make experiences as inclusive as possible.
Yeah,
by reflecting on that.
Well, talking about inclusivity, and I mean, as practitioners, we talk about it all the time in terms of inclusive lesson planning. Every learner should achieve success in our lesson. 100%. There's no reason why a learner should leave your lesson without achieving no success, regardless of whether they enjoy PE or not, regardless of whether they're a GCSE scholar or just in normal core PE. Now, that success is personal to them. I taught a lesson on yesterday core PE girls group, and it was a large group. We're an inner city school. We've got large numbers.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did in that lesson, it was a mixed class. It was girls mixed. Some scholars like PE, some scholars probably don't like it as much. The first thing I asked them, what is it that you're going to take out of this lesson today? I want you to ask yourself that question in the next 50 minutes. What are you going to gain from that lesson? So I knew what I wanted from that lesson.
Yeah.
But I kind of gave them the power.
Yeah.
What are you going to gain from that lesson at the very start? And at the end, the question I asked them, what have we got from this lesson? And they were loving it. They were smiling. They were like, Miss, we want you next week. I'm like, we're kind of swapping teachers every 2 weeks. So they've got a fresh face.
Yeah.
But I was like, what have you gained from this lesson? So they started the lesson, almost I've given them the power.
Yeah.
I've ended the lesson. What have we gained?
Yeah, I like it.
And that for me was my inclusive lesson plan.
Yeah.
Bringing them into the lesson themselves, letting them have a voice. Now, I had that lesson planned, but just the language that I used invited them into the lesson.
Yeah.
And it's now got them talking, what are we going to do next week in PE?
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But I think coming back to the challenging unconscious bias.
It's also, I'll just add before we go back to challenging unconscious bias, it's also that you've used, whether you've meant to or not, but the guiding pedagogies of meaningful PE framework, right?
Absolutely.
Goal setting and reflection, giving them autonomy, student voice. Yeah.
I think that's key. And I think the more we do it, the scholars start to realise and they start to value PE.
Yeah, it becomes personally relevant, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it becomes more meaningful.
Yeah.
So that fun factor, my PE is fun. How many times do we hear that? We're changing that fun to now becoming joyful.
Yeah, okay.
And it's becoming joyful because there's meaning to it, and it's because they have that voice. And it's because they've got that power in that voice. I think that's key.
Yeah, nice. Sorry to interrupt you. So back to unconscious bias again.
Yeah. Can we go back to that question? First one. I think I got carried away a little bit.
I think you do get carried away. No, it's brilliant. Listen, it's really, really clear to see how passionate you are about challenging stereotypes and unconscious bias and making PE meaningful and inclusive. And what I would say at this point, before we jump into the quickfire questions, is that this blog will go out. Aaminah's blog will go out, and I encourage everyone that's listening to this to definitely read it. It's a really good blog. It's really well written, has such a nice tone to it, and I think it's something that you'll all enjoy reading.
So in the blog itself, I won't.
Don't give away too many spoilers. Yeah,
no, I won't. But in terms of challenging unconscious bias, I've seen it where I've taken a group of girls to a fixture and we get judged, and you just get eyes looked at, like some schools are looking at you, and these might be the schools in the city that are doing really well in sport, and they're winning everything. They're winning every fixture, every league cup, every cup, and you get kind of eyes looked at you, and the girls I take, Miss so and so is looking at us. That's absolutely fine. We're going to go in. We're going to play 4 quarters of netball. We're going to use the first quarter as a warm-up. Second quarter, we're going to start smashing it. Third quarter, we're going to show them who we are. Yeah. So I've been in that picture where I've been the child who's been looked at and kind of judged and not thought anything of it because I never thought anything of it at that point. But then becoming the teacher, and I feel like, I mean, this is me. I'm challenging myself now. This is my unconscious bias because I'm assuming that another teacher or another coach is kind of having these views on us.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is, I mean,
and they're not challenging that.
Yeah. This is it. But I this is something that I think, and I love to do. I think as schools within cities, we should meet. There should be. I mean, if you're a part of a multi-academy trust, trust schools meet, which is fantastic. I think within the city itself or within a town, as schools we should meet, because you could be a large city like Sheffield, and you might serve different areas, different demographics. So the barriers that you might be seeing are very different to the other side of Sheffield.
Yeah.
One side of London, very different to the other.
Yeah.
So I think we should there should be a platform where we can meet and we can start to understand the different cultures, the different religions, different social backgrounds that each community, each school is serving. I think that would be a safe platform then to challenge unconscious bias, so that it is not obvious when you go to fixtures.
Yeah.
And when you go to meets. I think that's really important. And I'm not sure how we do that, because I totally get that teachers are, busy.
Busy people, yeah.
We are busy. I didn't get home till 7 yesterday. But I think there needs to be ongoing training where, as educators, you learn about the community that you're serving at a very minimum.
Yeah.
At a very minimum, we put time into that. We spend time getting to know our community.
And this is me making an assumption here, but our location, I'm guessing there's some stats around this, but our location down in the southwest, more rural, the community probably looks different to a community in the Midlands, and in terms of how we need to make it suitable to our community. So we can't just look at certain parts of the UK and what they're doing and adopt it as our own. We need to be, like you said, communicating with our local community. What does our picture look like? What's our demographic? What are the challenges and how can we address those?
Absolutely. Like, I'm going to start working with some of the mosques in the local community. And, religion itself promotes physical activity, 100%. Healthy lifestyles, healthy well-being, it promotes it. So I'm going to do some work now with some of the mosques, and how can we get some of the, because there's a lot more boys participating within kind of like the Muslim background, less so on the girls, and that is because there's less role models, 100% less role models out there. I'm not seeing women succeed within that background. So I'm going to do some work with the mosques, start to understand how can we use the powerful voice of the mosques to encourage families. So I actually spend a lot of time with, I don't know if anybody knows, but Darnall. This is an area of Sheffield, very, very deprived, extremely deprived. And I do work with a charitable organisation called Darnall Educational Sports Academy. And fantastic. With the help of Sheffield City Trust and their facilities, we have really engaged the community. And we have got thousands of young children coming to our holiday sessions and coming to our Friday. We're at the English Institute of Sport. We offer sessions there, and it's just multi-sport. But it's also upstairs, so the kids are downstairs. Upstairs, there's a safe location for mums to come and play sport. So things like badminton and table tennis.
Brilliant, yeah.
And we couldn't have done that. I mean, Dessa's great. Dessa absolutely fantastic. But we couldn't have done that without the help of Sheffield City Trust, 100%. It's their funding that's helped us get there. And now Dessa serves literally thousands. They've got thousands of people signed up. And they do, on a Saturday, they do football sessions. Parents come along. It's really engaging for the parents. We do get girls only sessions. But I think the key there is Dessa have gone out into the community and they've brought the community in. The community is involved in every single session that they do. And I mean, if there's a way that we can all do that, I think that would be great, totally great. I've just remembered something, by the way.
Go on then.
I was just talking about, I don't know if people have heard about the Dame Kelly Holmes Trust.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the listeners will have. But maybe all of them.
So they're also fantastic in terms of if anybody is struggling on building confidence for girls. We've been using it for a couple of years now, and we use it for Year 9 female cohort. And we use it outside of PE, and we use it for building life skills for example, confidence, because this is where we start to notice it's that kind of year 10, 9, 10 kind of age range. Their confidence drops, their resilience drops, their leadership. And that's been an intervention that we've put on alongside your normal lessons. And I 100% promote, and I think schools should be using the Dame Kelly Holmes Trust. It's brilliant. It's we use it for female scholars. It's led by an athlete who comes in and they lead the intervention, and they give advice. They listen to the girls. They listen to the problems that the girls are having, something that the girls might not necessarily share with a teacher. And they take that and they share their story and the barriers that they've broken to get to where they are today. And then the girls work on a program where they start to plan and lead their own sessions. They choose their session, they lead it. And what we've noticed is the girls that are going through the intervention tend to engage better in lessons. So they engage much better in lessons and their confidence grows. So in terms of breaking barriers and engaging girls, it's a whole school approach. Yeah. It's a community approach, 100%. It's not just down on the PE teacher.
Yeah.
And again, personal opinion this, but I genuinely believe that with these interventions, the girls do become more mature. You see that shift in maturity, and they start to believe in themselves. And that's a massive thing. Yeah. Having that self-belief. Yeah. Self-belief is key.
Yeah, amazing. I think you've, in the last sort of section there, you've just thrown some really good sort of concrete examples of what we could do to maybe encourage and support the ideas you've shared today. It's amazing. Hang on. I think what we'll do is because I think there might be a chance for one of them to come up in the quick fire question. So,
okay.
First quick fire question for you is: what are your 3 non-negotiables for ensuring the best PE experiences for all?
I think make PE enjoyable for all. I think that's it needs to be made to the closest. Make PE enjoyable for all. I think that's absolutely key. Every scholar should have the chance to find joy, and I love using the word joy. Mm-hmm. Every scholar should have the chance to find joy in every single lesson. And that's on us as practitioners in our planning and in our conversations that we're having with our departments, with our schools, with our communities.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely key. The second one I'm going to say is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to challenge unconscious bias, and don't be afraid to reflect on your own assumptions about what you think a learner can or can't do.
Love that one.
I think that is key, and I think to become a better human being, forget teaching. To become a better human being, we can't be afraid to challenge our own unconscious bias. I think that is key.
Yeah.
And the last one, this is something that someone actually said to me when I started teaching, and that was: maximize every moment you have with a learner that's in front of you.
Okay.
From the moment that someone steps into your classroom, or from the moment you have that first interaction, we as role models, every teacher is a role model. We as educators, we have the chance to make a real difference. We have a chance to make a real difference the moment we have that interaction, whether that's a form tutor, whether that's office staff. That first moment you interact with a scholar or with a learner, maximize that moment. I strongly believe, and this is me being very reflective of my own practice, I think if we maximize that moment can then be where we can discuss, or where let's say that learner can then discover that they can be the faster version of themselves, the stronger version of themselves, or let's take it away from physical activity, the more resilient version of themselves. And that's only if we can maximize that moment, that interaction with that learner, with that individual.
Lovely. I love those 3. That's brilliant. So let's go on to the next one. If you are kind of I'm making again an assumption of what this answer might be, but if you had a motto, what would it be?
So I've been thinking about this, and I think my motto, I'm going to take into account my religion, and I think my motto is going to be from a quote. It's going to be a quote from Prophet Muhammad, and that is that there is no beauty than intellect, and that would be my motto.
Okay.
Have I surprised you there?
No. To some extent, I thought it was going to be around maybe something to do with challenging unconscious bias, but also I knew that there would be a link to your religion and
I think that's key. I think so. The quote is, "There is no beauty than intellect," and I think that comes to, as individuals, we need to increase our cultural capital. We need to start to understand our learners. As a parent, we need to start understanding what the value of PE is. Forget the value of PE, the value of education. And I think that comes from knowledge.
Yeah.
So intellect for me is knowledge. And I'm going to go back to my grandma. My grandma now, the comments that she used to give me, and now she can see the value of it. So she's become more intellectual. She's got that knowledge and she understands the impact it has. She's so proud of me now. Like, she will openly within the community say, "My granddaughter does X, Y, and Z."
Amazing.
15 years ago, she wouldn't have been saying that.
Wow. Yeah, really good example.
But now she's seen the value. The value has increased because she's seen it's been that impactful. So her knowledge has increased. Yeah. So I think, there is no beauty than intellect would be my motto for everybody out there.
I love that. Controversial, but if you could remove one thing from the PE curriculum, what would you remove?
I found this question so hard. I don't think I'd remove anything.
Right.
But I think I would shift the focus. And I know this is hard because every school has different facilities. I think I'd shift the focus away from traditional sports. Because I think with traditional sports, there's a space where we can reinforce through our unconscious bias stereotypes.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I think if we shift away from traditional sports, we advocate for a flexible curriculum, and that's going to promote lifelong physical activity.
Yeah.
But also, I've seen this firsthand. Engagement levels rise. So things like Danish long ball.
Yeah.
Scholars love Danish. Well, this is personal experience, but they absolutely love it. Regardless of whether they're the type of scholar that comes through extracurricular activities, they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And it's because they've never played it before.
Yeah. It levels the playing field, doesn't it?
This is it. It levels the playing field out. Chook ball. They absolutely love it because it's a new sport. So I think if we can, and I totally understand the barriers that schools face, and it comes down to space, facilities. But that would be my change. I would shift over to less traditional sports. We take our scholars rock climbing, and none of them have been rock climbing before. And we just walk down, nice small walk through the community. We go rock climbing, and they absolutely love it because it's something that they've never done.
Yeah. Okay. Nice, love it. Then the final one then is, do you have a question for our next guest?
I do.
Go on.
And the question I have for my next guest is going to be a personal question, and it would be to reflect on their unconscious bias and what would that be, and how might they challenge that? How might they challenge their unconscious bias? I'd like to know what it is, basically.
Yeah, great.
And that is quite personal.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe not just a question for our next guest, but a question for listeners. And if you'd be happy enough to share your response to that, then do share it through the social media channels. But I think it's a really pertinent question that Aaminah's asked, and I'll certainly reflect on it throughout the rest of today, I think.
I think start your lessons.
Yeah.
Start your lesson or your next lesson and just think, what unconscious bias do I have on the learners in front of me? And how can I challenge that? I think that's key. We should daily we should be, and it is personal, and it is a personal one, and you might not want to share it, And that's also, I think that needs to be respected.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is personal, and I'm going to definitely continue to challenge mine as well.
Amazing.
I think I've made some comments today where I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a natural thing, isn't it? And sometimes we reflect that way. Absolutely a privilege to have a conversation with you this morning, Aaminah. I'm very grateful for school letting you out for an hour to have a conversation with me. Just lots to think about, and I hope that everyone listening to this podcast episode is reflecting on Aaminah's experiences and thinking about your practice as well. So thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you. And if anyone ever wants if you serve in a similar community to what I come from, I'm happy to help. So please, any questions, just let me know. If I can be of any help to anybody, because I really just want to be a role model, and I want to show girls that it's okay and sport's okay. and I'm living, I'm breathing, nothing's happened to me.
I absolutely love it. And then finally, before we just close up and hit the end outro, the blog will be out very, very soon. We'll signpost to that, so keep an eye from the PE Scholars Insights page and get ready to read that blog when it comes out.